Hello.
Oh, you guys are both in the office.
Yeah, fun times.
Oh, wait, can I? Sorry, out if I sound. Yeah. Oh. Oh.
Do you do a lot of stargazing?
That was a Christmas present. So I think there's not that much to see in the city. We've been looking at the surface of the moon a lot.
Oh, that's fun.
But it's kind of a cheap telescope, so it has its limitations.
But you said it.
Um,
How far can you see with it? I mean, does it? I don't know telescopes very well.
I
but-
don't, this is, yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, I wish I knew more. I think it was a quarantine present. Okay, so this is recording. We're just waiting for Carol. We're early still, so. Jeremy has been working his butt off for me, so now I have a lot of work to do. Jeremy's like, why do you want all this information? It's just gonna make you crazy. You're right.
And Sarah, I put a link in that sheet that you gave us. I'll
Okay.
be honest, I didn't know what to include with it. It's I mean, it's kind of how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go with it, and for the leases and whatnot. So I just did the major ones that we do, and then clumped the ones that are various other ones. So
Okay, I'll take a look. I think it was just it's one of the puzzle pieces just to look at. I don't think I need to see, the 20-page legal contract that the CPS puts out, so.
Yeah, I might close my blinds too.
Hi, Amy. We're just waiting for Carol to call the meeting to order, and then.
Hey, I'm trying to get my earbuds to work. I don't know why the Bluetooth thing didn't pick up, so. Nice to see everyone.
Nice to see you. All right. Well, I'll give Carol a couple more seconds, and then I should get her cell so I can text her.
I can text her real quick. I almost did before I jumped on and I forgot to, so.
Well, I don't want to she might be just running a few minutes late, but yeah, if you want to text her, that'd be great. So Jeremy, do you want to take minutes?
Sure.
I sent you they don't have to be so detailed. I mean, really, we just want to make sure we have our to-do list, right? When we're done with these meetings. So
But you're not asking me to add to what you gave me, right? Or I can't edit that one is what I'm saying.
You can't?
No. You
I
want
thought
me
I
to
gave you edit access. It says editor. Is it because of CPS?
It could be.
I mean, you could make a copy if you wanted.
Yeah, I'm just gonna I already copied it in Word, so I'll just add to that.
Okay, and then just, send it to me and I'll put it back in Google Docs, I guess. Okay, so I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 3:16 p.m. I'm gonna do a roll call. I mean, I could see everybody. Carol is not here yet. Oh wait, here she is. I'm here. Dr. Powers is sick. Troy is here. Hi, Troy.
Hey.
Jeremy is here, and Carol is here. Hi, Carol. Okay. I make a motion to approve the agenda. Do you have a second?
second.
Okay. Let me just And Carol, if you didn't hear, Dr. Power is still not feeling well, so he's going to bow out of this meeting. I'm going to do a roll call for the approval agenda. Deely. You just got to unmute yourself and say yay.
Here, yay, sorry.
Ma, yay. Hillbrands
Yay.
and Voigt.
Yay.
4, and then I'm just going to make a motion to approve the minutes from March 4th. I have a second.
I second.
Okay, roll call. Deely.
Here,
Ma is yay. Hillbrands.
Yay.
Voigt. He looks like a yay.
Yay.
Okay. So before we get into all these different reports, Mr. Voigt, have you heard any updates about the budget, getting the budget for next year?
No,
Nothing. Okay. And
nothing new there. No, I mean, we've gotten some hints at it's coming, but nothing else to report really.
okay. So I want to be able to share.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I
please.
should point out, however, the principal would get it before me. So, and he's been out. So, but I'm quite sure he sent a few emails today. He would have sent me something if he'd gotten
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
I'm
I
guessing-
haven't heard any rumors from anyone else. I think word travels fast when the budgets come out. People get
Right. Exactly.
pretty jazzed. So internal accounts, I'm trying to, Jeremy created a folder called LSC. Jeremy, are you able to or comfortable to share that with the other members of the budget committee? And then if we're talking about specific items, I know that you said you couldn't share the internal accounts, or you prefer
That was
not
odd.
to?
I'd never seen that before, but I put certain documents into a shared Google folder. And I think specifically you, Sarah, they kicked those documents out because your email is not a cps.edu email.
Okay,
So they don't want me sharing those items. I emailed them to you instead, which I find ironic. Give me a second and I can share it. So I'm sharing with Ms. Deely, I think I already shared with Mr. Hillbrands, but Ms. Deely will have the same problem because she does not have a CPS.
okay. I can forward her this email you sent to me. I mean, the other thing I was thinking is that I could put them on the JCP LSC drive. I'm trying to make it easy for you.
I know I've been trying to figure out the best way to do this as well, but it's hard when they don't. I would say the best way is if you guys want to make a folder in your drives and let me add to it, then maybe it won't get kicked out.
Okay. Yeah, I could try. Let me try that.
But because my drive is owned by CPS, they're going to continue to do that. Do you think that's correct, Troy? I mean, he knows a little more about the security side of it than I do.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get around.
Or is there a suggestion you have for how to share all the financial documents they're asking for?
Maybe just put, like you were talking with Sarah about doing it where you put the documents inside the Gmail account. And
Inside
No,
the
like
like
LSC.
you upload it instead of like sharing it.
Right.
Right. So how about this? After this meeting, if I haven't already, shared the budget folder on the LSC drive. And you could press see if you can add to that.
Yeah, because, and I don't want access to everything in the LSC stuff, but if I could just have the ability to load stuff into one folder and then you guys could take it from there.
Yes, I will share this with you right now.
I feel like last time I tried it, it wouldn't let me add stuff, so I'm not sure if that's,
It's the same thing for us, like we have a form to do updates and no one in CPS can fill out our form for whatever reason. You know, it's not even asking anything exciting. It's just saying, do you have an
Right.
update? And the answer is they can't fill it out. All right, so I guess, you know, if there was any highlights, I don't necessarily think we need to like go through line by line of the internal accounts review, but were there any highlights that you wanted to discuss before we talk about fees?
excuse me. No, I mean, things are picking up a lot because everyone's anticipating coming back. Let me just look through what I've all shared in the April meeting. So the bank statements, yeah, I was gonna try and share, but it's not gonna work in Zoom, I don't think either.
I
The
can share
bank-
that. Do you want me to share something?
It doesn't matter, but the
Okay,
bank statements, I don't have March yet.
Okay.
And so yours, I've loaded the last 3 months, which would be December 2020 and then January, February 2021. For budget transfers, those have already gone through. There was only 4, I think.
I see
My
that, yeah.
understanding is that we are pushing the budget transfers through, but keeping you guys in the loop on those. Is that your view as well, or did you want us to be holding those until they are approved?
So if I'm looking at this, I think it's only if you transfer, oh yikes, yeah, I have to get some. All right, so for example, I opened the one that's dated 4/1.
Mhm.
And it says there's 40, is that value, is that dollars, 47? What is that?
Is that, no.
Oh, it's
4-1.
5,000, so the transfer says 5,000.
Correct. I'm trying
Okay.
to see what, because there's 2 on 4-1. Okay, so the $5,000 one, that was a transfer of, excuse me, benefit pointer to regular pointer funds to open the testing coordinator position. That happened on January 28th.
Hmm.
And it's merely moving similar funds around because they have stuff on a regular pointer line and a benefit pointer line. And there wasn't quite enough on the benefit or on the regular, so we had to just move some over from the benefit in order to open the testing coordinator position, which was being staffed by a new person.
Right, in my experience, when we got that email from, yes, it was more of like a courtesy because you're not moving it from
Internal
one,
accounts stuff.
yeah.
This
So,
one is not. This is all 115, which is
right,
CPS funds. It's really just moving it from one account to another account. So it's
right,
all the same kind of money. The next one, same sort of deal. This is special ed 114, which is CPS special ed funds. They get a workload reduction money. I think we got like 16 grand for it. They've chosen to pay that all people who work with special ed. And this is moving money around so that we can create that bucket to pay out stipends. The second one is the same thing.
yes, but,
Or sorry, the third one, I should say. And then the fourth one, we did a book transfer in internal accounts. And that is what you're referring to, I believe, Sarah, where you take money out of our internal accounts and we put it on a budget line. We did that for I'd have to look at the exact amount, but it was $3 short. And I believe that was for the Chromebooks for the social science department. If you remember voting on that one.
yes, yeah,
The last meeting. So I did a book transfer for that. It was $3 off, so I had to transfer another $3, and that's what that is. But that does lead me to another question. So when you have approved a purchase order or requisition like those Chromebooks for, I think it was 7,700 or so, can I assume that the transfers are also being approved?
Yeah, I mean, because you're telling us where the money is coming from.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of my assumption, but I just want to make sure we're dotting the i's and crossing the t's there. And in those instances, I wasn't putting any kind of transfer into the minutes, but I certainly can.
I see, yeah. It's like, yeah, it's a rabbit hole once you decide to follow all the money. It's, okay, I mean, I just got all this, so I see, and Carol, do you have this folder? Did he shared it with you? I just don't want you to feel like
I
you're
don't
left.
know. I don't know. Where would I see it? Because I would just need to look on my phone now, or because I'm using my laptop for
Right.
this meeting.
I think oh,
No, I have not shared anything, and
okay,
I can add Ms. Deely's email to my shared file. I'm not even sure if I have it though.
Oh, okay.
I think the other thing we can do is, Jeremy and I can work to get it on the LSC, get the final shared drive. I just don't want you to feel like you're left out of this meeting. So if you're able to look at the documents, that might be helpful.
Okay, so where should I go look, or?
Let me put your email in the chat for. So he could,
Is it CH Deely at ME?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you'll have to check Ms. Deely again. I don't know if CPS, what they will and won't let you.
Okay, I just see it. I saw it just came through. Yes. Let me see if I can get in. It says, well, maybe. Let me see. I think I did. So is there it says April, May, and June? There's
Yes.
3
Yes,
separate
right.
files?
Just April.
Yeah,
Okay.
so click April, and then we just went through, we just talked about the budget transfers, and then,
Okay.
and the bank statements are in there for what he has available.
Okay, okay.
And then
Mhm.
the check approvals. Okay, so let's see. Oh, Jeremy's coming in again.
I'm trying to do my desktop so I can share if we need to.
If
Right.
Jeremy, if it doesn't work for you, I can do it too.
Share screen. No, that's not it.
There it is.
Okay. There we go. So you can see the 3 bank statements here, December, January, and February. Then we also have the budget transfers we just talked about, these 4. And check approvals would be what we have for approval for the next meeting, which is on the 13th. This is an athletic trainer. This is 1 season of our athletic trainer fee, which is negotiated with ATI Physical Therapy. and done through Frank Grossetto's athletic budget. So he's requesting this amount be paid. That's their invoice. The next one is Joanne. Ms. Troche has a chunk of items she needs for staff returning to work. And those items are outlined on this quote. And that one's a pretty big order, so that one would also be brought to the LSC at the next meeting.
Oh, that's the marketplace. Okay. And there might be more, you think, before that? It's before next Tuesday?
It's hard to say. I mean, when I get them, I push them through as quick as I can. It's possible, but as of right now, that's all I have over 2,500.
Okay. And this, and I just wanted to circle back to the comment about do we approve the budget transfers? My question was, for example, the one that was 5,000, it was moving for the benefits portion,
Mhm.
or regular pointer. That's just moving within the 115 fund.
Correct. Yeah, and it's moving in within the same program and same grant number as well. It's
Yeah.
just moving into a different account number. When CPS lets us do anything with positions and how those positions are funded, there's a couple different lines that are required. So my position, for example, would have like the regular position funds, but then there's also benefits, and those are on 2 different lines. And when I try to open that position, it might say, you don't have enough in the benefits line, so you need to move some money over. So we just took it, or in this case, it was the other way around. We had too much in the benefits and not enough in the regular. So we just took 5,000 from the benefits and moved it to the regular so that that had enough for that position.
Okay. Yeah, I just need to double check it's like, if that's something that when, the guideline says we must vote on all budget transfers, and so like, what does that really mean, as far as, so let me get some clarification. So don't do anything
Yeah.
differently. This is,
I thought I read somewhere when we were talking to School Support Center, and they said we should contact LSC Relations, I think, for a definitive answer. But I thought it was said something about LSC needs to be notified, but it's not necessarily a approval process.
yes, I do remember. So, and then that I have to make a decision, like, is this notifying the LSC by notifying within the committee, or do I need to include that as part of the update at the regular LSC meeting, which I could easily put in a chart and just say like, this is what moved, that kind of stuff.
But also to clarify that 5,000, that was back in January. I mean, that was, I think, before you guys even had your first meeting with the new LSC. So it was more of me passing it on, everything from this calendar year so far. But
Yeah.
it actually happened quite a while ago. The other ones are more recent.
Okay, sorry, I just got a work email. I'm trying not to work. I have someone working, I should not look at my phone. Okay. So then monthly budget documents. This is the balance sheet chart of, these are awesome. I will go have fun reading all of these. And I just wanted to give you a shout out and appreciate all your patience in providing this information.
You're welcome. Yeah, you mean these, right?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Obviously chart of accounts we're used to looking at.
This one and this one, we've always done at the
Yes.
meetings. These other 5 are, standard reports that we have within our internal accounts. I can certainly put those in each meeting if you guys want them.
I think for a little bit until I could get real comfortable with, what I've definitely learned in this process is that each school is different, and especially a high school is different for me. So it's just really, it's been great to see how people spend the money,
Mhm.
and honestly how it's budgeted, because it's vastly different.
Right. And then you saw the Excel chart that I kind of created regarding the fees.
Yes.
and what we've taken in. Is that sort of what you were looking for?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull that up. I had it pulled up right. Oh, here it is. Okay. Here, I'll share it in the chat. So the Jones fees is a new animal for me. And I know that the administration will present a new fee structure or the same fee structure in May for approval by the LSC. And so one of the things I just wanted to make sure I was prepared is that I really had wrapped my head around how Jones does the fees. And so what I learned was that you get assessed fees your whole career, but they do carry over. So if you're a freshman and you sophomore, junior, you've never paid any fees, you do have to pay them all before you graduate in senior year. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And so I was just, that was new to me. And then I kept, you know, the complexity of the fees is great, right? So we have a freshman fee, and then we have AP fees, and we have, and I'm looking at this, you know, we have gym fees, and then if you're in sports, those are other fees. And so it's just wrapping my head around who's collects those. Is it a clerk that does all of the fee kind of?
It's again, sort of more complicated, but
Okay.
so through Aspen, any parent or you know, student theoretically can pay those fees online. So that's one way. We can also get payments sent through the mail, check or money order or whatever. That's another way. And that would come to a clerk or myself and get entered into Aspen that way. Or they may be in person, and they have had some in-person activity in the office, even with the remote learning. And the clerks would handle those as well. Primarily, it's just a couple clerks right now, but like at registration time, there could be as many as 5 of us taking in those funds. When it's put into Oracle for receipting purposes and deposits and stuff, it looks as though it's all under my name, because the reports are, you know, broken down between each clerk, but I just do one receipt for the entire office, essentially. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then it is a little complicated with the fees. I have tried to talk to CPS about that and say, you know, is there a better way we could be doing this? Or, you know, like instead of having all these different smaller fees, put it all as one large fee for everybody to pay. But they're sort of like user fees, you know, if you're not in that class, why are you paying an extra fee for it? It should be the people who are in those classes who are paying those extra fees. And unfortunately, CPS does want that broken down. That I'm not saying every school does it that way, but they are supposed to break it down within each fee like that.
Okay. No, I mean, I think that is very logical to break it down like that, right? So that you're not paying for stuff you don't need or use. It's just
A lot.
a lot. It's just a lot. And so, okay, so, and this is really more of a question for Dr. Powers, which is, when I, again, so we have 3 categories: people who pay fees, free lunch, right, who don't pay any, and then reduced, which pay 1%. And so, bless you, Troy. And then when you see, when you, how do the families that are reduced, how are they notified that they pay less? Is it in Aspen? Does it like it? So like if you go on the website and you pull up that the form, not the form, but the, you know, the summary of the fees, and it explains all the fees. It doesn't really allude to the fact that if you're a reduced lunch person, you don't have to pay all that. So I'm wondering, how is that communicated to the families?
So again, right now, it's not being communicated very well because we're not following the same communication systems that we do during a normal year. Normally, we would send out a progress report, and with that progress report, we would send out an account statement. And on the opposite side of that account statement, it would give overview of these are your fees. If you qualified for the waiver, they should be free, or certain fees are free. If you qualified for the reduced waiver, certain fees are cut in half, and it's pretty strictly just the activity fee and class fees. All other fees like sports and optional fees and things, those are not reduced or waived. And then when they look at the account statement, it should reflect that.
So this,
I can't see in parent portal what parents see. We don't have access to parent portal the way you do. My understanding was that it does say in there somewhere what the status is, but I don't know for sure. Troy, I don't think you've seen or know that, do you?
I don't think it does. And that we've looked at different ways of doing like a zero line where it just says their status and the year that, but anytime it's a zero amount, well, it takes it off the account. So then it disappears. So it may be on the account, but the parent can't see it.
It's a bad system that CPS created, like many of their
Okay.
programs.
okay, so our goal would be to work with the bad system to let our families know as much as we can. And so I guess I'm surprised. So if they can't get if they're a free and but they can't get their sports fee reduced, can they go to Friends of Jones? Does Friends of Jones have a bucket of like sports fee help? Or like,
So this is a conversation that's been going on, and I mean, again, it's not my call really. If LSC and or Dr. Powers and the athletic directors say they want to start waiving the sports team fees for everybody who qualifies, that's definitely our prerogative. Like, we are allowed and able to do that. It just needs to be made that is now the new policy, and that will cost the school quite a bit of money.
what how much is a sports fee? I have no idea. Like,
So JV and varsity is currently 150, I think. Yeah,
175 and 115 for freshman sports.
yes.
okay, I'm just trying to, and so if you don't, let's say you're free lunch and you play JV, whatever, and you get that bill for 115 and you don't pay it, it just accrues until you're a senior,
Correct.
and okay. Okay, that's something that I'm happy to know, and I will talk about it. Obviously. Go
Now,
ahead.
and it should be mentioned as well that we have appeal options, or, I didn't qualify for the waiver because CPS does not deem my situation as qualifying for it. But if they reach out to us and say, well, we've got this, and this going on, and that's why we can't pay, there is an appeal process, and we can provide that form. They fill that out, it goes to the principal, and I would say 99% of the time, he's going to approve that appeal.
Is that a
So
Jones form or a CPS form?
it's a CPS, it's a CPS form that I don't know that they use much anymore, and so we just have always continued to use it. I couldn't tell you if it's still an official CPS form, but we continue to use it so that we have some sort of documentation of why we are waiving these fees.
Okay. Yeah, no, and I'm gonna reach out to Carol, do you have other high school students?
I have, yes. And in my experience has been that if you were free then you didn't pay any fees. But
Okay.
those were not that was at a private school. If you were on scholarship, you didn't pay for your sports or your practice gear and things like that. I had a daughter at another CPS school, but she didn't do sports. It was a performing arts school.
Yeah,
It doesn't seem reasonable that the fee, it seems like if it was free or reduced lunch, then it would be free or reduced other fees too, it seems to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to my lane contacts. I know someone on the LSC over there, just to get some ideas of what other schools are doing. Okay, sorry. I might close that window. Okay.
Does this hold up people then from graduating then, or?
No, everyone
s-
graduates. So that's not exactly what we're doing. There's I don't even think it's legal for us to say you haven't graduated. They graduate, they get that diploma, that all happens. But the ceremony is, or more specifically, their cap and gown is not issued until their account is paid for in full. Or they've come to us and said, what can I do, or how can we work together? We might waive some things for them due to whatever circumstances, but they technically do not get a cap and gown until we've settled the account in some way or another.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to explore making changes to that policy as far as even working with Friends of Jones,
Mhm.
that you could, a lot of schools, elementary schools will have a field trip fund, right? And so it's for kids that can't pay for field trips, but they absolutely should go on the field trip. So it's like they can ask for this in a discreet way.
Friends of Jones does have a special assistance account that we can draw from for certain things. I don't know that it applies. Like if there was a special need like that, then I would prefer we just go through the appeal process. Like I'm not going to take Friends of Jones money to just pay some fees that, the school can cover a certain amount of it if it's just decided that we should cover it for this student who is in need. But what we're talking about, I think, is a little different. That's sort of a case by case, smaller situations.
Mhm.
What you're asking, like if we were to start waiving all the athletic fees, that is a very large amount of money. So I'm not saying we shouldn't. In fact, I'm kind of in favor of those fees being waived or reduced, but it will mean that his budget needs to be supplemented from somewhere else. So it will cost the school a lot more.
Right. So let's say you have 500 kids doing sports, a quarter of the school, and that's 175 or like 150 on average. So
Yeah, I can look right now and see what we brought in last year from the athletic fees.
that's like $75,000, a lot of money. So,
So
I would hate for.
they're not small decisions. That's all I'm trying to
That's
say.
right. No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
And I'm hoping
Yeah.
that our takeaway from this meeting would be, I told Dr. Powers I would just summarize a few of the big points. And I think one of the big points is first, the communication around how your fees are reduced. And then second would be evaluating this. For me, really, it blows my mind, and I don't know why, but this carryover, like I feel like it could be a weight on a student's shoulders. Like I wasn't able to pay the fee, or the family, I wasn't able to pay the fee, and it's accruing, and now, gosh, it's senior year, and it's so much
Well,
money.
I can just say from my experience that I paid, I was late a fee for something, and then my daughter couldn't sign up for homecoming because we had an outstanding fee that I didn't know about. And so she, then they all rushed to get in line because I don't think everybody can go to homecoming. There's just a certain number of spots. And so I think, and so that happened to us. I think maybe a couple years ago.
Yes, and it's definitely a hot topic with lots of families. It's hard to find the right solution. So, Sarah, what you're saying is, how do we get them to pay year to year as opposed to some of them who are just letting it pile up to their senior year? This is one way in which we try to get them to pay a little bit over time, as opposed to like just letting everybody keep building up this account. And so we try to have families continue to just pay it. And if there is an event like homecoming, the policy is that fees should be at $100 or less if they want to go.
Mhm.
Or they can do a payment plan, which is sort of an acknowledgement. I understand that this is on there. We're not going to be able to pay it this month, but at least we know they know what's on that account before we'll sell you a ticket. So it's not to say that kids who owe over 100 can't go, but they do need to acknowledge it somehow.
Yeah, I mean, when it happened to us, I think Aspen was just coming online. So we didn't even know we could look it up online,
Right.
right?
And
You
that's-
used to just get that thing at the beginning of the year, and then you didn't get assessed your sports fees right away. I think it was an assessed sports fee that whatever, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
No, and I hear a lot of feedback about it. I would
course.
love if there was a better way to do all this stuff. This is just the policy we've adopted, but it
And I
doesn't.
think I mean, many schools do it that way. I mean, you have to find, the rubber has to hit the road. So you have to, one time I didn't make a fee at another school, and then my child couldn't sign up for their classes.
Yes, see
Or
that.
they couldn't get their schedule. They couldn't get their schedule until we, or made arrangements or whatever. And it was just, again, something that slipped my mind, but
And that used to
That-
be kind of a tool to use,
Yeah.
but now CPS has all those schedules are basically in parent portals, so there's really nothing withholding.
oh,
Okay, well, like you said, it's not your decision. But it seems like you know a lot about it. And, I think just bringing this to the LSC so that they're prepared in May for when they would get a change, and then maybe the equity with Mr. Mitchell, they can look at, this reduced issue, as something that they would want to look at,
Sure. And just to give you an example, so the athletic fees for from July 2018 to June 2019, which was more of a traditional school year, brought in about 60 grand.
mhm.
and he's using that for the trainer, for example.
Exactly.
Right,
Or primarily it's used for busing to the different sports events, which is way too much money. Like
But-
it's
Jeremy,
Just-
correct me if I'm wrong. Mr. Grissetto still gets a grant from Friends of Jones for approximately $25,000 to $30,000 just for the buses.
He was, although I haven't seen that for a while now. So
Okay.
again, during a traditional year, I think he would ask for funds from Friends of Jones for that. Right now, I have not seen it in a little while. Busing and then tournament registration fees at different schools. They all have, $250 to $400 registration fee for any given tournament, sport, meet. And then some refereeing official payments. Some of that has to come out of our athletics budget. And I think there's one other thing I'm forgetting. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but he has to pay for a lot of equipment that the teams can't afford for themselves. Like we just ordered a bunch of track equipment, some water polo balls, stuff like that.
And he does all of that. Like he manages his budget for the whole athletic department as the director.
Correct, but then, we have some sports, like our cross-country team brings in a lot of money through their various stuff they do, fundraising or whatever events they might work. They can probably handle buying some of the stuff that they want on their own. So, it's pick and choose kind of, he does what he can, but if a team really needs help and they're growing versus a team that can kind of support themselves.
Okay.
Sarah, I just want to
yes.
loop back on one thing too about the communication about the fees. Like Jeremy said, this has been a very unprecedented year where a lot of the communications that we would normally go through have been either removed from us. For example, the progress report that you mentioned, that all went through CPS, and the FIIF form was extended an extra month and a half. So that also impacted the communications with free or reduced notifications. So it's a moving target this last year and a half on a lot of these different things. And even like AP exams, I mean, I don't know where that sits now, but like we weren't even sure, are they CPS going to cover it or is it not? And it's like, so, these things that we would normally add into the statement, we couldn't
Right.
because of certain reasons. So I just want to put that out there. I feel like with this next coming year, the 2021, 2022 school
Mhm.
year, I feel like we're going to be back on track to getting the notification out. And they're usually notified at least twice, once by email and then once by written letter. And then they can also see it on parent portal. And we definitely are open to ideas on how to do that. But Jeremy and I have played with that a few times, have never found a solution that works.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I, like I got the fee and I paid it and I didn't think about it until I decided to run for LSC, and then I was like, oh, I should learn more about the fees. And I went on to Aspen and I looked that I had paid and what I had paid and all that kind of information. But I was thinking even on the Jones website where it talks about the different fees, even putting a asterisk there that says that if you're, somewhere you can go to read more about free and reduced, and how that can impact your fees, and also like log into Aspen to see what your fees are. I don't know. This FIFF form, is that an electronic form or is that a paper form?
That's done at registration, and I may have mentioned this before.
It's that paper form, right? It's that gross.
We've turned it electronic.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And we're one of the only schools that did it.
Yeah.
And we pretty much have like a 99 to 100% return rate. Lori Torres is kind of the woman in charge of that. She's kind of gun-hoed and gone for it. I got to tell you though, like breaking it down to like who qualifies and who doesn't. She and I have talked about that too. It's kind of complicated because we never really know until we put them into the system whether they qualify or not. So I mean, we have some basic three points that they can qualify for. You don't qualify, you're reduced, or you're free, and some of the things that might qualify for that. So I mean, we could probably try to work on the language a little bit more. I just find that a lot of people don't read that anyway, and they just fill it out, and we have to resubmit the FIF form. There's probably been 150 that she had to redo because they didn't fully read the instructions that do break it down to like who should apply for what status.
Right. And I think maybe that would be a great document to translate if it wasn't translated, right? Yeah, or
we
it might be,
thought about doing like a video, like explaining how that is. But usually how that goes is we'll get the updated form August 10th, and our registration is usually August 15th or 17th, something like that. So there's a very short turnaround.
oh, but you know what? That form is Spanish on the backside, like the paper form. So
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But I've had one of Irma Gamboa, who's speaks Spanish here, and some of it doesn't make sense. I feel like they did like a very poor like Google Translate.
Okay. All right. So I don't know where I'm putting that. That's on a bucket list of to do.
I mean, I agree with you. That form is, it's
Well,
very
like-
much an honor system too. I mean, we've had families that, well, I know they did not tell the truth on that, but whatever. I mean, that's on them. But I mean, it could also have been they accidentally filled it out wrong. I mean, it is a kind of a confusing form, and I get that. But we've tried to make it as easy as possible. But there's always room for improvement.
All right. I think that's enough beating everyone up over fees. I'll put that in Dr. Powers' court as far as
So I would suggest that we work on maybe distinguishing which fees do qualify to be waived. But,
Okay.
and like Troy said, it's only as good as whoever's gonna read it. But almost everything does qualify. It's only the athletic fees and then some of the fees which we probably won't budge on, which are like temp IDs, replacing their IDs, things that's really on
Yeah.
the student. But almost everything else is pretty much waived or waivable if they
Okay.
qualify.
Yeah, maybe, I literally could just take the document that explains all the fees and just highlight which ones could be waived and which ones are non-negotiable, just to kind of present that.
Sure.
But even the structure of that sheet that I think you're referring to, and I'll put that in the link or in the chat. I believe this is what you're referring
Yeah.
to. We've even discussed revamping that to kind of expand or simplify some things. It's time for that to get a nice little overhaul. And I think that's in general something that we've been talking about, and I think this year would be a great year to do it.
Is that something that you want help with? Like, do you want me to, I'm a visual person, or do you want to wait and for Dr. Powers'
I think
lead?
the best process would be is for, definitely Jeremy and Dr. Powers to take a sweep at it first and, clean it up as much as possible. And then if any additional assistance is needed, then bringing in other people to
Okay.
take a look at it, especially from a parent perspective. I think that could be very helpful to, see what you think about this and if it makes sense or, questions about certain things, yada, yada, yada.
And
Yeah.
we do tweak that schedule. When I say schedule, the student fee list. It gets tweaked pretty much every year because that's what we present to the LSC. So to make it as clear as possible, I would say almost every year we're trying to do just something a little differently to make it a little bit better. But I do think you're right that it should list which ones are waivable and which ones are not. So that's much more clear. And then I think another good thing would be once we are starting to send out the mailings again that have the account reports, I think there's a way we could, because CBS is not going to do what we want it to do in their actual account reports. So we might have to try and figure out how to mail merge it to show what the waiver status is within a mail merge. Troy's face.
I love mail merge.
I know.
I do too.
The problem
but
isn't mail merges. It's getting every
Getting
document
the data, yeah, in the
correctly when it's
spreadsheet.
time to stick it in an envelope. And we've
Yeah.
been working on trying to do that with with our folding and mailing machine company as well. It's just, it all
it's
sounds
CPS
simple.
makes these things available in Lotus Notes.
2,000
And
students and multiple
Lotus Notes.
pages. It's not as easy as it sounds.
No,
I mean,
I
we've
know.
gotten a lot better at this though, Jeremy. I mean, some of the things that we've done, I'm not tooting our own horn here, but toot. Some of the other schools have found out about these things. And I mean, I love sharing ideas with other schools, and they've kind of like given us their feedback. But and like your experience too, like and Carol too, like every school is a little bit different. So it's not going to be a universal thing. And that's I don't think CPS is like issued any kind of templates or anything because every
Right.
school does it differently.
Yeah, for me, I could see, and we'll wrap this up because I don't want to go over an hour, but I think it'd be interesting to think about like, oh, I could check what I do, and it might spit out what my fee is. Like a little like a little Excel worksheet that you could be like, okay, put what you do, and then maybe you could play around to see what your fees might be. Because I find this a little bit like a little confusing. At first glance.
Would you and Carol and Amy, if you're interested, maybe just taking a look at this.
Yeah, I just did. Yep.
And just taking, some questions and feedback and then just letting us
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like, oh, that doesn't make any sense, or
Sometimes just getting a parent perspective is really what we need, especially on the
definitely.
parent portal side of it. Once in a while, I'll get a parent who says, oh, your instructions aren't quite right. You have to go to this button, then this button, and then this button to get to the fee payment. Again, we have no idea. They don't give us access to that. So,
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'll give you my login.
okay.
Kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. So Troy, I asked for, we have like 5 minutes. I have a couple last minute questions, which was, Troy sent a list of the rental. I am assuming you haven't done any new rentals in the last month, except maybe the field, no?
rentals are suspended for indoor purposes until possibly late summer. Word on the street is probably not until fall. But the two big groups that use Jones are always going to be the church groups, and those are the ones that usually tip us over 200,000. They've both expressed interest in coming back. There's one that even had a hiatus prior to COVID, and they've expressed interest in coming back too.
Okay. All right, we'll be rooting for COVID to go down forever, get all the kids vaccinated too. And then Jeremy, you shared the list of grants. And I wouldn't even mention it, but I was pretty interested in this.
So that has changed considerably, which is why you're seeing such old information. The reason I put it in there is to kind of show you that we don't have a lot of grants that we submit anymore, gifts and grants that we submit through the CPS portal.
Because,
They definitely remind us that we need to, but almost everything now goes to Friends of Jones and is issued to Friends of Jones, and they don't, it's seldom that they'll send us stuff. I'm not saying they haven't since 2016, and I haven't dropped the ball on putting those in, but it's not what it used to be like it was, what you're seeing on the 2016 list here.
yeah, the
So-
casino.
They continue to remind us that that stuff needs to go into their gift grant donation database, and I'm doing my best, but honestly, we haven't gotten much from them in the last year, and the year before that, it's just gotten to be a lot less because most things are going directly. They pay it out directly, unless it's like a tech items that we need to buy that Friends of Jones is purchasing for us.
Yeah, or these like music trips, if they're supporting part of a.
Right, but so then they're sending the payment directly to the vendor.
Oh, they are, okay.
So I'm not seeing their funds,
Oh,
which
wow.
is why I'm not accounting for it.
Okay. And no more casino donations?
I've not seen that in a while, no.
Can we get that one back? That's a pretty good one, 50 grand.
Yeah, and so that was used for the scholarship, he calls it Opportunity Dreamers kind of gift grant account. It's primarily used for our dual credit program with Loyola, or it was, I should say, when he was getting it. I don't think he got it last year. And
I don't think they issued it last year.
Sorry?
I don't think they issued it last year.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I should say.
Okay. Okay, and then, if you get the budget, I'll stop bothering you for a while, okay?
And so again, Dr. Powers will hear all of that information before me, and there's usually a webinar, or I'm assuming this year it'll be a webinar that we have to attend before they give us the actual numbers.
Let's hope it's good news.
So I've updated as best I can. Some of these items in the minutes, if I'm doing a lot of the talking, I'm probably not getting stuff documented very well for you, so just bear that in mind.
Just, if you want to pop it, oh, you can't edit this. If you want to just send me your doc and I'll update the Google Doc, and then I'll just add anything. I'm just, again, looking for the big picture takeaways. And especially, I think, since we talked a lot about fees, since we didn't have a budget to talk about. And then, I will forward the check. How do you want to do that? Like when we have the LSC meeting, the budget stuff, do you want to continue to forward the check requests to the LSC like you have been?
I got some loud music out my window here. Troy can probably hear it.
Sorry.
So your question is, how do we communicate it again?
Yeah, since you sent it here, do you want me to send it to the LSC? Or do you prefer to just do it like you've always done it?
Are you going to need all of the documents, including the ones that CPS flagged and said you can't send to that
No,
person?
no, the only thing that we're gonna send is the transfers or the approvals.
Got it.
That's why we have a budget committee, right? So we can summarize for them and they don't have to look at all the documents.
For me, it's real simple to just load it into this drive I've shared with you. So if you're okay with that, that's great with me. Otherwise, you'll have to give me access to be able to add stuff to whatever other LSC folder you want.
All right, I did try to give you access, so if that doesn't work, let me know.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna proceed with trying to add it into that folder. And if it
Yeah.
doesn't work, I'll let you know.
Oh, and I just shared oh, it's your own Gmail, that's why. It's like, who is this? All right. All right, okay, it's been an hour.
And
I-
Sarah, sorry, do you want it broken down by months or just added into each of these categories?
I like how you did it by months. Do you want to just create your own folder? And then I'll change this?
Sure.
Yeah, I like your way better.
It seems easier for me to just throw it into one folder each month than to try and break it into each one of these folders. And then it's probably quicker to pull everything out that way, but
No, yeah, that's fine. You put your folders in there by months and then I'll reorganize the stuff that's in there.
okay, sounds good.
Okay, and I think I have to officially, if there's no other comments, adjourn the meeting at 4:14 PM. Oh, and we do meet on May 3rd, which is a month from, it's the first Monday, May 3rd, 2021 at 3:15 PM. And hopefully that's already on your calendar. And Troy scheduled everything on the JCP calendar, so that's awesome. And you guys are awesome. Best committee ever.
Okay.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.